Oh my goodness. We're mirrored. Hey, Steve. Been a minute. I'm trying to get all my things together because I was actually watching to see if Judge Simpson would go live. Oh dear, how much battery is this on? 30%. Yeah, it'll work. Let me just turn off. It's way too bright for that. Judge Simpson hasn't gone live, which is really weird because I've been waiting all freaking day for... I literally had it in my calendar to watch this mold thing. 11 days ago is this last stream that I can see. And then I was like, okay, well, I found the other one. Ooh, something fell. I found the other one in Judge DiSanto's court, but I didn't want to go live while Recovery Addict was live, so I just wanted to wait. Now I have it. I also went and downloaded a new song to add to background music because those were driving me absolutely dilly. Processing. Wow, this phone camera is like a whole new world. Do that one. Very soft. Addict still saying goodbye. And it took a while to say goodbye, and I thought I was going to take longer to get myself set up, but then I accidentally. I added the studio, and then I was boom, live. Okay.
Hi.
How you doing?
Can you tell me who is who, please?
Robert Woods.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask both of you to please raise your right hand. Good morning. You're this dumpster in the world and all your stuff in it. Good morning.
Okay. This is this, and this is that. And I need to now go and turn off this thing that's playing in my head. Greeners, I actually did. So all I had to do was wrap up like 2 or 3 sentences, and my brain is just not getting it. Like 3 sentences in a row had the word bus in, and I couldn't get my head to think about like another way to say bus. He did a quick buy, poof, probably because there was food waiting. He wanted to get to the lunch while it was still warm. Shame. I don't know how he does so many hours. I actually went to the doctor this morning because, as you can hear, I'm all like congested and whatnot. My throat is sore, and I haven't had vocal strain in... How long have I not been doing radio? About a year, maybe. Haven't had vocal strain in a year, and I have it again. I'm going to try to get 45 minutes of work done before he's back. That's the thing though, right? Like if you have a time frame, it's really easy. Thankfully, like it's just that like I have vocal strain and traveling is just such hard work. I'm just like so tired from traveling. Oh, I sound like an absolute a-hole. But my immune system's down. That's it. That's why I have vocal strain. That was the longest way for me to get back to the point. Okay, so talking about mold. You see the bottom left, the guy with the glasses on. We saw him on one of Recovery Addict streams, and he sounded like a little bit hectic at the time. But then when I was looking at the mold stuff, I stumbled across this, and it turns out that the reason he's hectic is because he's not being taken seriously over and over and over. So I'm just going to play this, and I need someone to be on Recovery Addict watch, because the notification won't pop up while I'm playing this.
Morning, Your Honor. Cheryl Wolkoff on behalf of the plaintiffs.
All right, good morning. And Mr. Thompson?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Your name, please, for the record.
Mark Douglas Thompson, Jr.
Okay. So I see that there is a there is a motion filed by Mr. Thompson. The motion was to set aside the conditional dismissal. Okay, and you filed your motion on March 15th. And the parties were here in court on,
I believe
March
March
26th?
12th, Your Honor.
Parties appeared in person, conditional dismissal to enter. And so, Mr.
what
Thompson,
date
then
was
you
that?
filed this motion. You wish to have this matter reinstated, wish to have a hearing regarding the damages that have been caused due to failure by the Plants Maintenance Department, due to failing to have licensed plumbers pull the proper permits, complete the work properly in the Michigan 2018 Michigan Plumbing Code, cleaning code with the proper inspections. Okay, sir, you, let me have you raise your right hand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you filed this motion. Counsel, you received a copy of the motion?
Yes, Your Honor, from the court I did.
Okay, so Mr. Thompson, you're supposed, whatever you file with the court, you have to send over to the attorney as well. And so, Ms. Lockout, did you end up submitting an answer, a written response or anything, or no?
No, I'd like to respond on the record. Your Honor, the court may or may not recall, but we were, as you indicated, in person. My client and I spent quite a bit of time with this defendant discussing all of the issues very thoroughly. We then went on the record. The court very thoroughly explained to the defendant his rights. He agreed to this conditional dismissal. He has not.
I need to go back and see what date they said they were in person.
All right, good morning. And Mr. Thompson?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Your name, please, for the record.
Mark Douglas Thompson, Jr.
Okay, so I see that there is a there is a motion filed by Mr. Thompson. The motion was to set aside the conditional dismissal. Okay, and you filed your motion on March 15th.
Okay.
And the parties were here in court on,
I believe
March
March
26th?
12th, Your Honor.
Parties appeared in person, conditional dismissal to enter.
I didn't hear that.
So,
March 12th, Your Honor.
parties appeared in person, conditional dismissal was to set aside the conditional dismissal. Okay, and you filed your motion on March 15th. And the parties were here in court on,
I believe
March
March
26th?
12th, Your Honor.
Parties appeared in person, conditional dismissal to enter.
Was that March
And
26th?
so, Mr. Thompson, then you filed this motion. You wish to have this matter reinstated, wish to have a hearing regarding the damages that have been caused due to failure by the Plants Maintenance Department, due to failing to have licensed plumbers pull the proper permits, complete the work properly in the Michigan 2018 Michigan Plumbing Code, cleaning code with the proper inspections. Okay, sir, you, let me have you raise your right hand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you filed this motion. Counsel, you received a copy of the motion?
Yes, Your Honor, from the court I did.
Okay, so Mr. Thompson, you're supposed, whatever you file with the court, you have to send over to the attorney as well. And so, Ms. Lockout, did you end up submitting an answer, a written response or anything, or no?
No, I'd like to respond on the record. Your Honor, the court may or may not recall, but we were, as you indicated, in person. My client and I spent quite a bit of time with this defendant discussing all of the issues very thoroughly. We then went on the record. The court very thoroughly explained to the defendant his rights. He agreed to this conditional dismissal. He has not filed a counterclaim when he's indicating he now wants to set aside for damages. Moreover, the basis to set aside a conditional dismissal or a consent judgment would be that they didn't understand their rights, or they thought there was an error on the judgment or the conditional dismissal. He does not indicate either of those items in his motion, and he's paid not a penny, and we've gone well beyond the time frame of the conditional dismissal. And I don't believe there's a basis to set this aside. If he wants to file his own claim against the landlord for any damages, he can do so in a separate action. But at this juncture, I would request this motion is denied. I'd like an immediate judgment in order of eviction. We need the property back.
Okay, Mr. Thompson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you and Ms. Lockout were both here in person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hmm.
Okay, and so you agreed to the terms of the conditional dismissal, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I asked you a number of times if you understood all of your rights.
Yes,
You
Your
stated you did.
Yes, Your Honor.
You also haven't stated that you had any issues specifically regarding the terms that were placed in the conditional dismissal. You didn't allege that in your motion. And so Ms. Lockout is correct. There is a certain basis
Sorry,
by
who?
which the
Sorry,
there's a
what?
standard by
Luck
which
off.
this court has to look to as to whether or not something should be set aside. And what were the terms of the conditional dismissal?
Your Honor, we had waived quite a bit
That was
off
a
the
close
rent, and it was to either pay or move by the 22nd of March.
And what was the amount that had to be paid?
$5,800. The defendant has
Okay.
not paid rent, and I'm not sure how relevant that is, but since it looks like October.
Okay, and so Mr. Thompson, do you have the money set aside in a separate account?
Yes, Your Honor. And I just put April's rent into my escrow account. I have submitted since of last month. You have in my file that I gave to the court and to Ms. Lockoff. I do have the escrow account with $5,800.
For some reason, I can't find Judge DiSanto's live stream, and I'm pretty sure I did before. Maybe it's under that Wyandotte. I was trying to find the day that he was there in person.
Dollars in there, and I just put $1,500 more in there. I did not get the email, the copy. I just got it this morning of the other amount of my rent that I just put in yesterday for rent. So I do have the money in my escrow account, but I need to email it to you guys. I'm sorry. I have the paper right here. I don't know if you could see it on picture. Well, it's on.
I cannot.
Your Honor, my
cannot
client
see
would
it.
not accept money at this point. We're past any of this. We just want our property back. We cannot keep going back and forth on this matter.
Okay, Your Honor. They have not
Okay.
done anything that they said they were gonna do, and the inspector of Wyandotte, Joe, has sent them email by email. They have not done anything. They resealed my ceiling with the water still leaking in the ceiling, and now the water, the brand new ceiling they put in has water damage everywhere in my brand new kitchen. They have not came back to fix it, or even.
All right, sir, and I'm not discounting your claims of, maintenance issues or damages. However, there's a certain procedure by which that has to be brought. You had agreed to a conditional dismissal that the amount would be paid or you'd move out by March 22nd.
Correct.
Okay,
Which I wanted-
and you're stating that you have $1,500 in escrow account, but you haven't submitted proof of that to Ms. Luckoff. You haven't submitted proof of that to the court.
I gave him.
When did you send that to Ms. Luckoff?
Your Honor, you have a file that I've submitted with the court and I've submitted with Ms. Luck.
I would like to say on the record for YouTube, it is LUCKOFF. Thank you.
Off over a couple weeks ago when we were when we were at court last time, she had all the emails I have sent to her over 28.
Your Honor, it's irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant that this is a motion to set aside a conditional dismissal. He didn't comply with the terms. He hasn't provided a basis. It doesn't matter if he has money in escrow at this point. We want the property back, period. We don't want his money.
Your Honor,
but hold on, Mr. Thompson. Counsel, if there is a motion, if there is a conditional dismissal entered and there is money waived off the balance and there's still, and he is depositing the money in an escrow account and submitting proof of that to you, you're waiving that and you want him just to move out.
We want the property back. I'm not waiving anything. I'm not waiving anything here. This was an action for possession. Very clearly, you pay the $5,800. I don't believe I've received anything from him since court last time. You pay the $5,800 or you move. He hasn't done either. The escrow is before.
Okay, so I think she's the one who went off YouTube, and that's why I can't find her channel. But this is recent. That's what's confusing me.
The judgment is entered or before a conditional dismissal, not after. So no, my client very well may go after this individual through collections, but at this juncture, because he didn't comply with the terms of the conditional dismissal and has not provided a proper basis to have it set aside, we are simply saying we want the property back.
Okay, I do show in here that I believe you may have had a copy of from the last time we were in court. There were statements on here regarding the amount that he had in a separate account for rents for November. And then.
Which he had until the 22nd to turn over to the landlord, and he didn't.
Yes. So why didn't you turn that over to the landlord, Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, because they never came to my property or even brought to the matter of the black mold or anything that they've done in my house. They have used my property. They've used my actual towels to clean up their own messes. I've had pictures taken of it. Your Honor.
Okay. So just one moment, sir.
We got this last time.
Just one moment. So, sir, why did you sign the conditional dismissal then? And does the conditional dismissal state anything regarding the repairs or the damages that were alleged?
Well, Your Honor, you told me that I had 1 to 3 days.
No.
To reconsider that day in court on the conditional dismissal because I wasn't.
Wait, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. You said I said what about?
You said I had
conditional dismissal.
Said I had 3 days to set aside a motion if I did not agree with the conditional dismissal, which I didn't agree with anything that happened that day because that day was not good for me. I felt like I was pressured. I felt like I was pushed. I did not get to say what I wanted to say on that day. I had very bad anxiety. Miss Luckoff and Christina.
Guys, would this be a court of claims? Because I might be able to find it then.
I did not feel comfortable in that room with them. Everything that was said and put aside, I feel like I deserve that. I have rent taken off of my rent because of the 5 months that they did not fix my water or have my shower fixed and the black mold.
Okay, Mr. Thompson. Okay, just let me clarify a few things. All right. Per the court rule, there are 3 days that whereby there'd be a request to have a judgment or an order set aside, okay? There is a basis for that, such as you didn't understand that the document as submitted was improper, okay? That isn't anything that's been alleged here. You're alleging that you want to set it aside because you want your damages addressed. First of all, if that was the case, there would have had to have been a counter complaint filed on the landlord-tenant action. There was not. This does not preclude you from seeking those damages. I can't tell you how to do that, but there is another way, sir, that you can certainly seek those damages if that's what you're choosing to do. But this would not be the way to have that done.
Your Honor.
The conditional dismissal.
OMG. Look at this. This is the judge's YouTube. She didn't leave. She was removed for community guidelines. Like, YouTube must have some serious kahunas on them.
Stated that $1,500 was to be paid by March 22nd, or you were to move out. If that did not happen, plaintiff can apply for an immediate order for judgment and eviction.
Is anyone good at way
Right.
back
I
machine?
also heard what you said, that you didn't feel as though you had an opportunity to state what you wanted to state. And that's because a hearing was not held. The two of you had reached a resolution prior to that. So because there was a resolution made, this court doesn't take any testimony because there's nothing to take testimony on at that point. And you also received your packet that indicated you had the right to have an attorney. And I also asked you that on the record that day, and you stated you were waiving your right to have any legal representation. If you felt, Mr. Thompson, that you needed to have legal representation, you certainly could have asked for that adjournment, or you could have contacted various resources that were provided in your packet as well prior to the hearing date. So for those reasons, the court has to deny the motion because it does not rise to the level of the court rule and or statute. And so therefore the court has to deny your motion, sir.
Your Honor, the whole reason why we're here is because I didn't pay rent, because they didn't fix my house. They waited until we came to court to bring somebody in that was not licensed, which the Inspector Wyandotte is aware of this and has sent them
Okay.
email after email. Your Honor, I'm just wondering, I just have a question. They haven't done anything in my house for the 6 months I've lived there. That's the reason why I didn't pay my rent. And I put it in escrow.
Okay, sir.
I'm a good land.
All right. And I appreciate all of that. However, if you have additional issues, you need to contact an attorney to help you navigate those. I cannot help you navigate those. I'm not saying you do or you don't have a claim. I'm not saying that either way, but you're indicating that there are issues that you would like to have addressed, and the way those get addressed is not by motion to set aside a conditional dismissal that you stated you understood all of the terms, you understood all of your rights, and you were waiving those.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I know you've ruled. I'm gonna have to sign off. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The court's denying the motion. Thank you, and have a good day.
So, Your Honor, so what happens? I lose my house now and my family gets kicked out even though I have my money for rent?
Sir, I don't know how many times I can tell you, you need to contact an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice.
Can she tell you when you have to be out?
What, can you tell me when they're allowed to take my stuff out of my house? Is that?
Sir, you have to read the documents that you've received. If you have any questions regarding those documents, you need to speak to an attorney. We provided you've been provided with a list of low income or free legal resources. I cannot give you legal advice, sir. And answering those questions is giving you legal advice.
I needed to know when I'm being evicted. That's why we're here. Now they're evicting me, so I needed to know what the day of the eviction is, Your Honor. I don't understand.
Sure. What I did is I denied the motion. I did not grant an immediate judgment, and I did not grant an immediate order of eviction. So when you receive any documents, you need to pay attention to those. I don't have any dates right off the top of my head because I don't have anything in front of me.
Okay, I'll get an attorney. I understand now. Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
I'm
I'm
so
off the record.
Thank you.
She didn't sign the judgment.
So we're going on the record in the matter of Giselle Garibaldi Terrazas, 23994. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Good morning, Honor. Christopher Shemke, appearing on behalf of my client, saying to the matter being heard via Zoom.
All right, Miss.
Okay. So that one really, Steve says that's just so wrong. And that is exactly how I felt when I watched it. Like Judge DiSanto, there is a video that I saved, but it's going to take a little bit of work from my side because I need to blur. Okay, so here's rule number one. I mean, here's it. Let's call it infraction number one. She shows minors' faces. So Juvie Court was streaming live on YouTube, and I will try to edit up this one video to like cut their faces. But I really don't like the idea of a kid being in court live like that. That upset me. Anyway, I find her quite. The reason I like Judge Simpson, even though I disagreed with him on the mold situation, is because he kind of balances his harshness. Like, yes, the rule is that she can't give legal advice, but I feel like she didn't even try to give a little bit of guidance, you know? Like, I hear you and I understand you, and I am going to have to deny the motion today, but I would strongly encourage you seek counsel or something like that, you know? Like, just something. The dude said they have painted over water running from the freaking ceiling. How did she deny his motion? How? That is uninhabitable. Like, Boyd is usually the same way too. Exactly. You've got to, I understand. There are, like, one of the first things you learn in 12 steps is like, addicts can twist absolutely everything. Like, class act. I know. We can get around things. And so I understand that she's got to be pretty strict. But there are times when you just have to come from a place of compassion. Things like he's in that house with his family. There's water coming out of the ceiling. There's black mold. He's not getting any help from the people running the building. He's not a person in there because he drove his car drunk. Like, it's not one of those things where it's like, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I made a mistake. No, he's living in a house. Oh my gosh, I said that no, so South African. No. He's living in a house that he should not have to live in. Now, so I think the follow-up we saw was that they had actually filed for eviction and he was being evicted. Now he's stuck because they are evicting him. He is probably not going to get his deposit back because there's water pouring out of the ceiling. And him and his family have to find a place to live. Like, sorry, how is that fair? I don't know if it's just like a law thing that she had to dismiss it, but that really upset me. Like, it's really not taken seriously enough. And I was reminded of like the mental impact of living in a moldy place, outside of what I said the other day about like it can do chemical damage on your hair, on your brain, whatever. Mentally, living in that space, everything feels dirty all the time. Everything smells musty. Everything feels uncomfortable. No one wants to live in that situation. They aren't just going to stay because, you know, they enjoy hanging out with some mold. They are obviously looking for some kind of reprieve. That right there is the reason we have so many slumlords. People just aren't aware of the proper channels to go through to protect their rights. And also, like, 100% agree. What are the proper channels? I know what they are here because I had to go through all of that. And for the most part, I had to figure it out. And like, that's, I mean, I've spoken before about like how great our constitution is, how good our labor laws are. People don't know. So for example, like with people crossing the border illegally and working here, even if they did not come here legally, if they are being treated badly, the labor department will look into it. They will try to help. But you need to know to go to the labor department. Like, that was her saying, I can't help you, contact X. That's not giving legal advice. That is just directing someone to a different channel. And the reason I know it's not legal advice is because we had to use like a phone lawyer that comes with our home insurance. And they said, we can't give you legal advice on this. You need to go to. That's it. Like, she is a public servant. She should have just said, go through these channels. It's not that hard. It's like Judge Boyd's attitude is, what can we do to make you successful? She's like, sorry, guess so. You'll have to figure it out. Please get a lawyer. Bye. This is why I have a sore throat, because I rant. I speak from, while I rant, I speak from my throat instead of my stomach. See where, just want to quickly see. He doesn't come up in that part too. And now, of course, I can't remember where I saw the second part of the eviction. But prior to that, he had no idea. He had to have heard about the escrow account somewhere, but that wasn't quite the path yet. Exactly. And it wouldn't have been legal advice just to point him in the right direction. You can see he's young. You can see that he's unsure. Just like say to him, also, a lot of these cases where they land up in court, people are struggling to make it financially, and then they have to go and get a lawyer just for the lawyer to say, Your Honor, there's black mold in the house. Like, fireworks, oh my gosh. I don't know how to turn that off on StreamYard. It's actually just like, feels like some boomer stuff there. Boomer energy. And then, so there's nothing in that one. Let's just go here quick. I know you can't see the tab. Wait, guys. He's live. He's live. He's live. This is not a drill. Judge Simpson's live. Please be my mold person first. Oh, present, present, present. Ah, okay, Vicky, stop panicking. It's not even playing yet. I don't know why I feel nervous. I just don't think this is going to go well. Might as well do this for now while we wait for him. Yay for black mold. Oh, it takes so long to get out of your system. Oh my gosh. Black mold should be tried in criminal court, in my opinion. It should be a crime to have to live with it. I found a lot of very cool videos relating to the mold situation. See, I don't have like more than one screen because I'm not fancy like that right now. Expungement and motion hearing docket. That doesn't sound like he's going to be doing that rent thing. Hmm. Where did I save those videos about the mold situation? Because I could at least play those in the meantime. Sometimes I'm so organized that I actually just confuse myself by how organized I am. Do you know what else I saved is the full arraignment for the woman who drove into the building, the birthday party. This might be boring as can be. Okay, how am I going to keep an eye on Judge Simpson? I need a second screen. Because my phone, now I've like really like slimmed down because my phone is my camera and my laptop is my screen. What if I do like a half screen? That could work. And then if we move this to here. I've got you covered on Simpson. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Josh. Welcome. Didn't see you come in. So I'm going to hop over. If this is dead boring, it's okay. We're definitely going to bump it up to 1.25 speed.
Okay, sweet. I'm going to click start now. Okay.
Thank you.
Sweet.
The webinar is live now.
Good afternoon, everyone that's online. My name is Amina Merritt, and I am a staff attorney at Housing and Economic Rights Advocates.
I
And
feel like
today
we
we're
can go
going
to
to be presenting some
1.25.
information about dealing with mold as a tenant. I have over 30 years of experience as an attorney here in the state of California, and I just wanted to introduce Housing and Economic Rights Advocates to you because you may not know that Housing and Economic Rights Advocates is a California statewide nonprofit legal services organization based in Oakland, California. HERA is dedicated to achieving economic justice for all Californians, and we attempt to do that by protecting all people from discrimination and economic abuses, especially in the realm of housing. And so today is one of our attempts to do that by presenting this workshop on. So first of all, let's jump into what the law is related to mold. And I have to tell you that surprisingly, people don't understand there is no uniform mold law that governs all landlords everywhere. And so today I'm just going to go through briefly a summary of the federal and state and local laws that might apply to a mold situation where you live. There's no law that says landlords are required to do certain things to clean up mold, but we will talk about what does exist. Under federal law, there is the Clean Air Act, which is found at 42 USC section 7401, et cetera. And that Clean Air Act seeks to protect human health and the environment from pollutants to ambient, which is indoor or outdoor air. And it might impose liability on a landlord if the conditions are so bad that they affect the air quality inside your apartment or living situation. Air quality is governed by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, which is a US government agency. And it's a big stretch to get to saying that mold actually affects the air quality, but it is possible. Under state law, California has the Toxic Mold Protection Act
It's not
of
really a big
2001, which
stretch.
was enacted by Senate Bill 732. That law is found at California Health and Safety Code sections 26-100, et cetera. And I put the 2022 reference because it was amended then. The Health and Safety Code section states that when a landlord is liable for mold when they
Ooh.
know or have reason to know that the
Ooh.
mold exceeds permissible exposure
Thank
limits
you.
or poses a health threat. Now, one of the problems with the statement in that law is that there's no definition of
I've still got him on this. Oh.
limits. And they did that so that
This
they
is
could
very
say that the mere
interesting, actually,
presence
to
of
me.
mold does not mean that there is a health threat. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk about how that compares to a local ordinance in San Francisco. But the other thing about the California Toxic Mold Protection Act is that the only legal requirement is that landlords are required to disclose mold to you if they know that it exists. And they're supposed to provide you with a
What?
guidebook or a link to information about mold and how to clean it up. And that's found at Health and Safety Code section 26-140.
Health and Safety Code. Landlord is liable for mold when okay, wait, this is California, right? So this wouldn't count for the guy that we're waiting to see in Simpson.
47, which was amended in 2002 to specifically require landlords to comply with these two provisions. And that is really all that the law requires the landlord to do. Under state law also, California Civil Code section 1102 through 1102.17, which was effective last January, only requires notice of known mold conditions and a requirement to work with tenants to clean up the mold if they're advised of the presence of it, and they're to give that guidebook. So you may have been given a lease that had the guidebook attached to it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. This law applies only to apartments that have 4 or more units. Some additional state laws that apply to mold.
So if you live in a
include Health
house, it
and
doesn't
Safety Code
count.
section 17920.3, which lists the specific conditions that endanger life, limb, health, property, safety, or welfare of the public or the occupants. And that law allows a court to declare a building to be a substandard building if it has those
That's what happened to
specific
us.
conditions. And one of the conditions that is listed is found in subdivision 13, a visible mold growth as determined by a health officer or a code enforcement officer. And so later on, I'm going to give you the reference for reporting mold to your local public health officer or your code enforcement in your city or county. Another law is California Health and Safety Code 104-170, which establishes this fund to test blood antigens and collect blood. And the only reason I mentioned this particular law, the only reason it's relevant to mold.
I want to do that to see where mine comes back, but it might actually just like freak me out even more because of the OCD situation. My brain will just latch onto it and I'll land up with like 25 compulsions trying to get rid of the mold in my blood.
Is that the notes on this law, on this statute that relate to the passage of it, discussed asthma as a crime.
That does not look like our... Okay, when they just flashed to the other people, those two were not that's not either of our people. Can you the camera again, please? I need to see on the left-hand side. We got Morgan Barroso, and then Morgan's beautiful. I don't see our mold guy. Also, there's no sound on his side, not mine. What if he's not there? What if they call him and he's not there? I haven't seen him at all. Unless they didn't, because what would the time be there? Because it was 9 a.m. today. That was his. So I'd worked it out. It was 3 p.m. my time. And it's currently 1:28 p.m. So then he didn't. Why would he not do it on YouTube? Why would that happen? That is so strange. He's Michigan, and I'm on Michigan courts right now. So back to private. Okay, so this isn't Court of Claims, right? This is District Court. Let's say Simpson. No, it's the one I'm already watching. Judge Simpson, please don't leave me out of that. There was one 2 hours ago on Claims Court. Department of Environment and Great Lakes Energy. That would not be it. Maybe there's a layout where I can have 2 views at the same time. Okay. Oh, I can't. I'm not fancy enough for that yet. Okay, let's go back to our mold lady. Did I lose it? I think I lost the mold lady. Oh, here we go.
Illness that's a leading cause of child hospitalization, and mold is identified as an important trigger factor for asthma and related deaths. Mold and other allergen control is related to asthma control programs, and this particular code section specifically allows funding to collect blood and human antigens in order to study the effect of mold on asthma and it as a chronic health condition. The other source of law related to mold
That's what I was
a
saying.
local ordinance, and here's I referenced earlier, the city and
That's what I was saying. So frustrating for me is like, now that I've gotten that far in the mold situation, now it's chronic. Now, when I come across it, it's bad. It didn't used to be so intense.
City and County of San Francisco has declared that mold is a public nuisance and that it violates
Ooh,
public health law to allow.
see a little bit movement on Simpson. Every day he's buffering. Also, guys, I won another copyright claim. Wait, what did I do to get the pew, pew, pew? 12 minutes. Okay, cool. Judge Simpson, better move quick, dude. Better move quick, fast. Honorable dude. I really respect Judge Simpson, and I don't like being angry with him. It feels like being angry with a grandparent. Wow, okay. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, well, let's just watch this for now, because you're going to be watching bottom of the screen. This lady she's infuriating, but it'll be a nice little brain thing while I figure out how I can get hold of this morning's hearing.
Garibaldi Terrazzi, your name, please.
Jitzel Garibaldi Terrazas.
Okay, and can you please adjust your camera so I can see your entire face? Thank you. All right, and so council stays the date scheduled for a probation violation hearing. Your client is on probation for operating visibly impaired by alcohol.
Yes, Your Honor, I had an opportunity to review the violations, Judge. At this point, she's not contesting the hearing. She admitted to the violations.
All right, and ma'am, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
Correct.
All right, as to the allegation, you failed to appear to probation, you failed to appear drug testing 3 times, you tested positive for alcohol on January 22nd. How do you plead?
Guilty.
And the recommendation in this matter is to revoke probation, close the case without improvement, $50 probation violation fee, and 60 days jail. Do you understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, and knowing all that, you want to continue with your plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, if you can please party your client.
Yes, I'd like to direct your attention to your probationary term stemming out 2023. Did you fail to attend a scheduled probation visit on February 14, 2024?
I did.
A drug test taken on January 22nd of 2024, would you stipulate that it indicated the use of alcohol?
Yes.
And did you fail to submit on drug tests as ordered for the following days, January 31st, March 4th, and
I feel like to say that some of my travel videos have picked up some people who make some questionable comments on certain things. So just to bring my attention to it, if anyone pops up in chat, I don't think I need mods for 4 people at the moment, but I saw a bunch of comments coming through on a bunch of pretty old videos. So I'm just anticipating the moment it's in a live stream.
and March 17th.
I did, yes. I don't usually
That's
get
fine, Your Honor. We'll get to the explanation, but we just have to set the factual basis.
All right, and so the court does find the plea is knowing, voluntary, factually accurate. The court will accept your plea and indicate 3 technical violations, 3 through 7 will enter, and counsel asks the recommendation.
Your Honor, as the recommendations, I would be respectfully requesting, I know although there was an indication that there was not recommendation for a review, I would ask for a review. Your Honor, my client is deeply apologetic for not being in full compliance, but indicates that if tested today, we believe that it would be a favorable circumstance. I believe that this is directly correlated with transportation and financial constraints, but she was sincere, contrite, and very polite during our interviews. I would ask for any sort of leniency or potential sidestep of incarceration at this time. She may or may not want to address the court. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Do you want to address the court, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
You really shouldn't. Strongly
Would you like
advise
the court to
against
know?
it.
I don't usually get drug tested on Sundays. So, and those are usually my
So
days
that's when
off.
I drink.
So-
I don't usually get drug tested on Sundays, so that's like my day to get wasted. So like I wasn't expecting to get caught.
So I did overslept a little bit, and I tried going in the afternoon, but they were closed.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Overslept because you were
Hold on.
drunk.
That's one time.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
then
saying that you didn't appear for drug testing 3 times.
yeah, because I still don't have my phone updated. It's still like under my dad's phone number, and I did try changing it. They supposedly had changed it, but I guess they never did.
I don't know what that means.
It's because I was phoneless for a little bit, so I had changed
It's because
my
I got
number to my
drunk and I
dad's phone
broke
number, so he
it.
could be the
Or
one
lost it.
getting the drug tested messages, and I guess he just forgot to send them to me as well.
Mm.
Well,
That sounds likely.
That's not a valid excuse, and I've asked you please to put your full face in front of the camera. And,
Like this,
okay,
Judge.
what about failing to appear for probation appointment?
I never got
Busy on a Sunday, so
I never got a message for that. I've been trying to text Natalie, but she hasn't been answering me.
And when did you text Natalie?
I texted her in February, then in March, and she hasn't been texting me ever since she went to her
Hold on, ma'am.
vacation.
She doesn't text. So it'd be email. She doesn't text.
It was through email, yeah, my bad.
texting your probation officer.
I was supposed to have a Zoom meeting with her, a check-in meeting, and she never joined the meeting.
Right, ma'am. She was out, and so people were checking her emails and such.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even text my therapist.
Yeah, I believe it was like in January or February when I was supposed to do the probation
Listen.
check-in, and she never joined.
Okay, and what about your positive alcohol test, January 22nd?
I was
Yeah, I did
drunk.
drink, and I also took like a couple cold medicines.
Oh, honey. Okay, listen. If she was supposed to be doing sober meetings, is it the Ackermans for Simpson? Josh, it is a black guy with braids. And I'm trying to remember what the apartment building was. It was like McKinley's. McKenna's. Very like the guy was very approachable. He was trying his best. He was very respectful. The Ackermans, I think, was the couple where the girlfriend was speaking and Judge Simpson said, let her speak rather than him. I have the court docket for today. So there was somebody at 9 a.m. That was the guy by himself. And then there was somebody at 2:30 p.m. and there was somebody at 3 p.m. And I think all of those were the ones. And for whatever reason, he just didn't stream this morning. Let's do a time check quick on Recovery Addict. 45, 3 minutes. Nice. So what I was saying is if she had to go to sober meetings, they would have told her that she can't even have medications with alcohol. Like I literally had to change my stomach ulcer meds because it had alcohol in, and it just you can't be sober and be having medication with alcohol.
Okay, and why were you drinking, ma'am?
I was just really going through it.
In fact, some of my friends don't even take like paracetamol.
Okay, and that's not a valid reason to drink, ma'am. Ma'am, what is it you're looking at? Are you reading something? Are you on a phone? What is it you're looking at?
No, sorry.
All right, I'm gonna take a brief recess. I need to check on something. Just one moment. We're gonna go off the record.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we're back on the record in the matter of Giselle Garibaldi. 23994. Okay, Ms. Garibaldi. So I took what you said regarding the fact that you emailed in and you didn't receive anything back or anything of that nature in January or February, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye
Now,
on
I'm
RA. He's
looking
not back
at
yet.
this information. And on January 8th, your appointment was removed from the calendar from January 7th.
I almost choked. It's so funny when the camera, like, when it goes to her and she's just like, because it's almost like those TikToks about reality TV where it's like they're mocking the Kardashians and whatnot, and they're just like, I can't find the tab now. I'm stuck like this.
17th, and it was rescheduled to February 14th. That is the matter, the one that you did not appear for. The only email that was sent to Ms. Shaw's email since November was on March 18th, ma'am. There is nothing else from your email since November.
I've got my eye on RA's. I've got
And
the
then
tab
you're
open.
just you're
so we'll
reaching
hear.
out to Natalie because you got a text message sent on Sunday, March 17th around 5 a.m. saying that you had to go drug test. But since you don't get drug tests on the weekends, especially Sundays, and those are usually your days off, you wanted to rest and you didn't see it until 11. And then any chance that you could be excused for that or reschedule another drug test. Ma'am, it's called random testing for a reason. Random testing is any day of the week. It's your responsibility to pay attention as to when it is. You were sent a notice to appear for February 14th via mail, not even email. You never responded to that at all. Oh.
I wish you could just have it stuck on
You
her
didn't appear for
every
drug
time.
testing 3 times. You didn't appear for your probation appointment. You tested positive for alcohol. And you're on probation for operating on visibly impaired. And you were 0.19. You had this reduced from a high BAC, man. And so council, after the recommendation.
Your Honor, just any leniency used when determining the appropriate admonishment. I do believe
Leniency.
that my client is apologetic for her behavior. And at least in our dialogue, she indicated that she is eager to try to find an opportunity to demonstrate that her past behavior would not indicate how she would act if given another opportunity. Thank you, Judge.
Well,
Yeah,
ma'am,
it is.
here's
It's
the
showing.
thing. You had a probation violation September 26th, at which point the court ordered mandatory jail for any future violations. You failed to submit to drug testing January 31st, March 4th, March 17th.
Oh,
Used alcohol for your drug test on January 22nd. Then attend your probation violation March 14th, and then you're trying to place the blame on everybody but yourself.
I just want to
And your
finish the rest of this
violation
for the
that
continuity
this
of it
court
staying
order
on
indicated
off.
that you would use alcohol on another time. That's why that was your first violation. The court's going to revoke probation. The court's going to order 60 days jail. You are to
No, I'm not
report
sure.
by, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask if I'm not sure if she potentially has an outstanding balance or something that could be paid off or something of that nature. An outstanding issue could be solidified for consideration for an earlier termination of the probation and jail time.
I don't know. Ma'am, have you been making your payments?
I have not, no, because I stopped working due to my daughter. She had gotten really sick.
Due to my
But
drinking.
I was planning on paying them this upcoming week.
Hold on, ma'am. When did you stop working?
I stopped working probably like a month ago because she had gotten like really, really sick.
Okay, and what was she sick with?
The flu, influenza.
And how old is your
Really?
daughter?
3.
So how are you supporting yourself and your daughter?
My parents were kind of helping me out, and I had a little bit saved up, so
I'm sorry, but this was this year. If your child is sick for weeks with flu, you're doing something wrong. And also you should have had her tested for COCOs.
I was supporting her with a little money I had saved.
All right, well, you have to communicate with your dad so he can help take care of your daughter.
Yeah.
When's the last time you made a payment, ma'am?
I think 3 months ago.
Did you communicate any of that with probation at all? As to the fact that you were no longer working or anything else?
What was it?
Did you communicate with probation at all, the fact that you weren't working?
No.
Okay, well, that was another requirement of probation that you didn't comply with either. And you also didn't comply with your payment plan. The court's going to order 60 days jail. You are to report. I'll give you until Friday to report, April 5th. Please
April
email
5th.
Linda Michelle so she can give you that information. What's that, ma'am?
Okay, no, I was just repeating April 5th. Is there a certain time I have to report myself?
You're going to get that information from Michelle.
I have to stop it there, first of all, because we need to jump over to Recovery Addict. Well, I'm going to go have dinner. But I also don't want that song copyright struck from my channel because I have now won two claims. And I honestly don't feel like fighting a third. I told you that was entertaining, but it has nothing to do with mold. I just saw like parts of it while I was looking for the mold one. I actually think that genuinely her parents are just bailing her out of everything. What really took me out though was like what noise was coming from her phone that Zoom was going to her face, because she was just like, it's mold in her brain. Maybe the mold is what's got her all messed up. There's mold in the house. That's why her kid has flu-like symptoms. I don't think she comes up in the part 2 that I had mentioned. Also, I need to give credit to this channel, Mrs. Fields Productions. They were my absolute saving grace while I was flying, because I just needed some really dumb... Wait, is this her? Is this her? Give me one sec. No. I needed some really, really dumb, like, something that I can watch that's like Karen's rather than sad crime, but still feel like I was getting that crime fix. That sounds weird. Like, I wanted my brain to be engaged. This hearing that I've got, that's the part 2, is actually really sad. It's like these two sisters, the one was looking after the other, and they had a fight, and neither of them wanted to press charges, and now they're having like major jail time and whatnot. Anyway, let's wrap it there. I will come back to the mold story. If anyone finds Judge Simpson's hearings from this morning, if you can send it to me somehow, maybe comment on a community post or something like that, then that would be amazing, because I don't know if you can put links in comments. I think they might get blocked. But yeah, I'll keep looking. Hopefully I'll find it. I don't know why he didn't do it on Zoom or why it wasn't live. Or I'll try check the guy's name on one of the old streams or something. But I need to know how that ended, because that was just like so infuriating. I think if I lived in the US, I'd become like a free mold lawyer and I'd just fight for everyone. Anyway, see you guys over on RA's chat, most likely, unless my brain clocks off for the evening, which it may very well do. And I will try to do another stream again soon. Thank you for hanging out. Does this do anything? No. Thanks for hanging out. See ya. Bye. Oh, I can't end it again. All right, let's try this again. Bye.